guys. So today I wanted to talk about temporal mandibular disorder. It's a mouthful. So what is TMJ? It is a joint that connects our jaw to our skull. This is a commonly requested treatment as a lot of people do suffer from pain in this area. Although we may wear a night guard, it's going to protect our teeth, but it's not actually going to stop the pain or inflammation from occurring. TMJ can be caused from a numerous amount of things. What we want to treat in our office is TMJ caused by the masseter, which is the muscle that lays over top of that joint. So what we want to do to treat that is we want to put a little bit of botulinum in that muscle. We don't want to completely paralyze it. We just want to soften that muscle so that it's not activating as much. What this is going to do, it's going to relieve some of your tension and it's going to help the muscle shrink. Why do we want to shrink that muscle? Because that muscle is overworking. That's why we're getting inflammation, we're getting tension, and it's going to help relieve some of the effects, which is clenching, grinding, when we shrink that muscle. What to expect when you get a masseter injection, you're not going to have relief right away because it does take time for that muscle to shrink. I always tell my clients by your second appointment is when you're going to notice the wow factor. The first appointment, the muscle is starting to shrink. And then by your second and third appointment, you're gonna notice that the muscle has shrank quite a bit. We also can use masseter injections for slimming. So if you're finding that you have a bit of a bulge here, kind of a golf ball effect, or when you're biting down, you're noticing that it's popping out, we can inject that muscle and it will soften the appearance of that kind of square look of the jaw and give you a bit of a slimming effect. When injecting botulinum into the masseter, it does take a few more units than the rest of the face. Why? So if we look at my creepy little head here, you can see that this muscle is quite thin. This muscle, it's very thin. They're not thick muscles. But then when we start talking the masseter, see if I can pop it out here, the muscle is much thicker. So you're gonna need a lot more units to paralyze this muscle than you are this muscle. It's much thicker, much larger, therefore requiring a lot more units than typically any other muscle that we would be injecting botulinum toxin. I do recommend my clients, you are gonna be somewhere between 40 and 100 units to get started. As you come for more maintenance, you will notice that it requires less units because the muscle has started to shrink, therefore not being as large, not requiring as many units, which will result in a more affordable appointment. You can get TMJ covered. It's not dependent on me. It's going to depend on your insurance company. So you get a prescription and then you would go and pick up that tox the exact same way you'd go and pick up an antibiotic or a cream that you needed that a doctor prescribed. Some insurance companies do require you to fill out a form. There's various different things that we've seen, and unfortunately the forms are not filled out by us. They're filled out by a physician, your physician or your dentist. So if you're interested in it and you do think you have coverage, I encourage you to call your insurance company, figure out what you're going to need so we can get that in place and get you started on some masseter injections.